Use just these two words, and she'll start to crave you. Female psychology revealed. If you've ever felt like you were doing everything right, yet the connection just went cold out of nowhere, know that it's not your fault. The problem is, nobody ever taught you how the female brain actually processes attraction. We women evolved with an extremely sensitive social radar. We pick up on micro-expressions, shifts in tone, and pauses in a conversation faster than any conscious thought. A lot of men fail because they're acting. They follow mental scripts and try to micromanage the impression they're making. A woman's nervous system detects that performance as a slight threat, not necessarily something dangerous, but something untrustworthy. This is where the concept of emotional congruence comes in. When what you say is perfectly aligned with who you are, that's when the magic happens. Before we dive into these two words, if what I've said so far has already given you the aha moment, hit that like button down below. It lets me know you're ready for this level of depth. The first word you need to master is interesting. But don't use it as a hollow compliment or just to fill the silence. Use it as an anchor for your presence. Imagine a woman tells you something unusual or shares an opinion you don't totally agree with. Most men would do one of two things: either agree immediately to avoid conflict or change the subject to talk about themselves. Both behaviors scream insecurity. A man who's grounded in his own psychology does it differently. He pauses, looks her in the eye with genuine curiosity, and says, "That's interesting. Tell me more about that. Do you know why that's so powerful?" Because it communicates three subconscious things all at once. First, that you aren't threatened by her perspective. Second, that you have your own center and can hold her view alongside yours. And third, that you're actually there, present, and engaged. Research by Dr. Arthur Aaron shows that sustained curiosity is one of the strongest connection mechanisms there is. When a woman feels genuinely interesting to a man, not because he's trying to please her, but because he's actually listening, her brain releases dopamine and oxytocin. She starts to associate you with that feeling of being seen. While most people try to be impressive, the magnetic man chooses to be interested. It's exactly this level of depth and these subconscious triggers that I go into in my full guide, Attraction Secrets. In there, we go way beyond the obvious to transform your presence into something impossible to ignore. Now for the second word, and I bet you didn't see this one coming. The word is no, but it is not an aggressive or cold no. It's a calm, clear no without hesitation. Think about it. When was the last time a man said no to an attractive woman without wavering, without trying to over-explain himself, or without softening the word until it lost its meaning? Most men, when they're attracted to someone, become yes men. They agree with everything, change their plans, their opinions, and even their values just to keep her approval. And here's the secret. That doesn't create attraction, it does the opposite. The female attraction system is hardwired to detect men who have a stable sense of identity. When you say no calmly, whether it's refusing an absurd request or disagreeing with an idea, you send a very rare signal. The signal that you don't need her approval to feel good about yourself. Psychologists call this non-reactive confidence. It's the cornerstone of masculine presence. I remember the story of a client of mine, Marcus. He's 52, he's not rich, and he doesn't have the body of an athlete, but he has this calm way of carrying himself. A younger colleague once asked him how he attracted so many women. Marcus just smiled and said he stopped to performing and started noticing. One time, a woman he was seeing asked him to cancel all his weekend plans for a last-minute trip she'd organized. Marcus calmly said, "I can't this weekend. I've had this planned for a month. Let's plan something for next week." She pushed back and he just smiled and repeated, "I understand, but no, this weekend doesn't work for me." Instead of getting mad, she looked at him with a level of deep respect, because a man who can say no, especially when it would be easier to say yes, is a man you can trust. These two words, interesting and no, aren't manipulation tactics. They're reflections of an internal state of security. Interesting says you're secure enough to be curious. No says you're secure enough to have boundaries, Together, they form the psychological profile of what women describe as the most attractive experience in a man. Authenticity. You don't have to wait until you're 50 to develop this. You can start today. Practice genuine curiosity in your next conversation and practice your boundaries in simple everyday situations. Say no to a friend when you don't want to do something without giving 1,000 explanations. Boundaries aren't walls, they're the architecture of your self-love. If this video changed how you look at social dynamics, comment down below which of these two words you feel you need to practice more, interesting or no.